Yes, so hello everybody. Good evening, and I welcome all of you in today's webinar, India at 100. I welcome Dr. Jyoti Bindal, Justice VM Sinha, and Professor Narayan Sir in today's webinar. I request Professor Narayan Sir to start with today's webinar.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir,
Samshita,
you're
can you
audible.
hear me?
Yeah, you're
Yes,
audible.
sir.
You're audible.
Audible. Okay. Okay. Today we have started a new kind of webinar, that is the we are trying to project the future. What will be the future of education or all walks of life? So in 2047, when we will be completing 100 years. Just before this, we have done one or two webinar on completing of 75 years. So what is the situation, how much we have reached in 75 years. On the basis of that, we have certain demographic data, some data of economic studies, some data from medical science, and some data from judiciary also, that how we were at the time of independence of the country, where we are, and on the basis of that we can project that where we will be in 2047, when we will be completing 100 years. We will be completing 100 years, maybe something maybe positive, something maybe negative, and we need to suggest that what ought to be done, what is required to be done, and where we stand. We should be, as an academician, we should be very frank, because we are trying to speak or suggest the society as well as the government that what ought to be done, what necessary steps should be taken, so that at the age of 100, after independence of the country, we can have the we should fulfill the desire of the people, which is expected from a good citizen of the country. So from that point of time, today we are discussing. We have three experts from today, and I welcome Ravi Madorikar ji. He is a great man. He is a chairman and president of the Buddhist International Buddhist Mission, and he's trying to bring peace on this earth through Buddhist or through Buddhism in globe. So he is working hard for that, and he is based in Japan, and he has he commands very good respect among the Buddhists of the world. So I welcome him on behalf of society. I welcome you all on behalf of society, and we hope that we would be doing something better to society. Today's webinar is being watched by the policy makers and those who are drafting the programs for the development of the country in each sector. Maybe that again 2-3 webinar we will be devoting on this issue, because the field is very wide and we have to consider. We are getting the request also from the government as well as from the people who matters in this field, that it's a very good work that we are doing for the society. But our presentation, what I say when I say our means to society for empowerment, because you may agree, you may disagree with the opinion of the society for empowerment. Our vision is from that of the vision of Mahatma Gandhi, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, because he fought for the independence of the country, and his vision was of Gram Swaraj and the development of the people who are at the last stage of development. So we are looking from that perspective, as well as from the perspective of the policy and plan which are being drafted for the development of the country, from manpower as well as from the holistic perspective of the country linking it with the globe, because we cannot discuss India only in terms of India. We have to find out where we stand and what are our linkages with the people, because we are the biggest Asian economy, and we stand, as reported in the newspaper, the third economy of the world. But all these things, maybe there may be some controversy or there may be some questions mark on this, but that is a fact. So from that perspective, today our panel of the Society for the Environment, we have three experts. One is from the medical side, healthcare, the other is from the judiciary, and the third one is from the peace perspective and the Buddhism perspective. So all three are very important segment of the life. If there is no peace, then the life is meaningless. If the judiciary is not good, then all people are very much disturbed. And where they will look at, because the judiciary is the last, the last point of where from where we expect that whatsoever wrong has been done to us will be corrected. It may be true, it may not be true, because there are several cases where the chances of correction becomes the chances of corruption also. So that is also to be considered. And the healthcare, sometimes what happens that healthcare has become so much market oriented that all the human touch or all the Gandhian values are gone. Nobody cares for the Gandhian values, nobody cares for human considerations. That is there because I had an opportunity to be with the National Human Rights Commission for one term, and there I found that I have come across several such cases where the people are grossly neglected and where there is nobody. And even today, very recently, we have formed a Kasturba Gandhi Sangha. Why did I perform that? Women have so much atrocities are on women, so much difficulties are on women. We say that there are so many facilities in hospital for women, but in real situation we find reports on television, news or newspaper that women has to give birth of a child on road. A city like Delhi, women has no ambulance. They have to go on the shoulders of their husband or children. So this is if this is the reality, then what is the situation of the health care? So all these will be discussed. And since Dr. Bindal, the Vice Chancellor of Medical University, has some important engagement. So today's order will be she will be presenting her views first, and then Dr. Sri Justice B. N. Sinha is suffering from fever. So I would think that then we will go for peace and Buddhism. So this will be the order of today's presentation. If there is, so I will request Professor Dr. Bindal to make her presentation.
Sir, Justice Sinha wanted to speak first because he's not well. So before you joined, uh, it was his desire to speak first. So we'll request Justice Sinha to go first.
Okay. Good evening, Professor Narayan and all other dignitaries who have joined this webinar. It is a pleasure for me to be part of this webinar organized by Society for Empowerment and its coordinator, Swam Siddha, and the technical assistance provided by Mr. Subhash. I have the honor of speaking to this gentry, which is comprised of not only the peacemaker in the society, but all others doing substantial work in the society, like Vice Chancellor Professor Bindal, Professor Narayan, and of course the head of the Buddhist mission. I have been, Mr. Professor Narayan has been kind enough to introduce me to this webinar as someone who has the expertise of in the expertise in the judiciary. To this, I would like to add that I have been part of this judiciary as a lawyer and as a judge, and again as a lawyer, senior counsel in the Supreme Court. But expertise, to say that I have become an expert on this subject, will not be correct. I am only a practitioner of law, maybe as a judge, maybe as a lawyer, and in that I have gathered some experience which I shall share. And while sharing the experience, I will like to project the position of Indian judiciary when India completes 100 years in 2047 of its independence. With that view in mind, I begin my talk and submit for consideration by all of you that India became independent in 1947. Having become independent in 1947, it adopted a constitution for governance in 1950. 1950 is a year which is which has which may be described as a year of significance importance, because constitution was introduced, and constitution is not only something which provides us as to how we will govern ourselves, but it also gave rights to the people, the right, natural rights with which every individual is born, and a few other rights. Those are known as fundamental rights. There is a chapter in the Constitution, and those fundamental rights became part of the Constitution, and it was the judiciary which was supposed to be the guardian of those rights of the individual, of the people. Now, those rights, for enforcement of those rights, the main purpose of the judiciary shifted from what it was doing earlier before 1947, or before enforcement of this constitution. Judiciary was just deciding the cases between the two parties. It was, even now, it is deciding the cases between the two parties. But now you know that one of the greatest litigant is the state. And it is the state which is trying to take away the rights which have been given to the people in the constitution. And for enforcing those rights against the state, this is the main task of the judiciary of the independent India. Besides protecting the rights of the two people inter se. So there are two things: protecting the rights between two people, X and Y, both, and X and state. I hope I am clear what I want to suggest. I want to suggest that when we are having private litigation between X and Y, that is one. Then there is another litigation between the state and the citizen, or criminal litigation where the state is the prosecutor and the accused is the defender. So these are the three main segments of the judicial system after India became independent. Earlier, it was deciding the rights between the two individuals. There was hardly any litigation between the individual and the state. Besides the criminal litigation was there even earlier, where the state was the prosecutor and the defender was the citizen or the subject. Because prior to India becoming independent, its populace was the subjects of the British. It was not the citizen of India. We were the subjects. So this shift from subjects to citizen and the rights of the citizen is to be protected by the judiciary. So with this important shift, judiciary started functioning in 1950 and onwards. 1950, you may remember, in every state of India, Land Reforms Act was enacted, by virtue of which the zamindari system was abolished and the land became, and the tenant of the land who was tilling the land became the owner, or direct, he became a tenant directly under the state. The intermediary who was the zamindar in between, he vanished. So this shift, the litigation in the 50s and the 60s was mostly confined to the protecting the rights or otherwise of the tenant. This was being done in the traditional manner in which the records and other things used to be kept by the archaic judiciary which existed even prior to the India becoming independent. The record keeping, everything was in the same manner as it continued earlier. The result was, because people, as they became conscious about their rights, they, in order to enforce their rights, they came to court. And there was a docket explosion. The word is docket explosion. Today, if you go to the national judicial grid, you will find that there are crores of cases which is pending. Crores of cases on the civil side, crores of cases in the criminal side, many cases, and also the cases against the state. So all the details you can find about the pendency of the cases from the National Judicial Data Grid. Now, this National Judicial Data Grid came in the 2000. So from 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the entire record and everything was being maintained in the old bookkeeping manner as per the registers and everything. And it was very difficult for anyone to know as to what was the number of cases pending before introduction of National Judicial Data Grid in, I think it was introduced in 2004, 5, 6 while I was a judge. And then it became very easy for one to visit the site of National Judicial Data Grid and to know how many cases are pending from the Supreme Court level till the district and subdivisional level. So entire case records and everything about the pendency and everything, unless you know the number of pending cases, how will you manage your docket? And how will you ensure that things are brought under control? So for bringing things under control, Otherwise, if the pendency keep on rising and we are not able to dispose of cases, we are not able to protect the rights, the very purpose of the judiciary will not be served. Professor Narayan just took the name of our the greatest freedom fighter, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, and he said that for enforcing his ideals in the independent India and for ensuring the justice to the last man in the line, the concept of Antyodaya was given effect to. True. Similarly, accepting the words of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, the impetus in judiciary also shifted to the litigant. Litigant is the most important person in the premises of the judiciary. The judiciary exists for the litigant. And to keeping in view the rights of the litigant, this national judicial data grid was conceived. Number of cases and other things were at least now known to everyone, and with help of the technology, we are trying, or the judiciary is trying, to expedite the disposal. Once this disposal of cases is expedited and the rights are protected, the purpose of judiciary will be achieved. Otherwise, if we are not able to protect the rights of the litigant, whoever is coming to the court, and just we are here and whiling away our time or whatever we are doing, then the purpose for which we exist is not at all served. So, introduction of technology, creation of national judicial data grid in 2000, maybe 2004-5, I don't remember the year. And thereafter, the digitization of the record has facilitated the disposal of cases at a speed which may ensure that within a reasonable time or even beyond that, we are able to bring down the number of cases. By bringing down the number of cases, we will be ensuring justice to the litigant. Justice to the litigant doesn't always mean that the decision is in his favor. The decision may be against him. But the issue has come to an end. At least the persons affected may move on thereafter, and think of other ways to protect their rights. In the same manner, after the advent of technology, after the advent of corona pandemic, we have taken further stride, and now we are through the most of the courts have gone online, and parties counsel are being heard by the courts online. Now they are not required to visit the courtroom. This is advantageous to those who don't want to go to the courtroom. But for a traditional person like me, who has been in the judiciary since 1979, this introduction of online hearing is not providing that satisfaction which which one gets while appearing in the courts. Because in the court, you are better placed. You are better placed to put across your point of view to the judge who is sitting just across the bar, and at least to my satisfaction, I feel that I have been able to put across my point of view, and he has been able to appreciate it. So this advantage of hearing in courtroom, we are not getting on while appearing through online courts. But during the corona pandemic, when people were not able to go out of their house, there were many urgent matters taken up in every court, not only in lower courts, but high courts, Supreme Court also, through online hearing. So that is another stride we have taken in the judiciary in 2022 or 21 or 20. So in course of 2004-5, when National Judicial Data Grid was conceived and made, putting all the records connecting from subdivisional courts till the Supreme Court and available at the click of a mouse. Now, at the click of a mouse, you can be heard in the courtroom while you are appearing through online hearing. So this is another thing. So after 100 years, this technology will take us at even further. But one thing I may bring to the notice of the gathering present here, or those listening us, that howsoever we may introduce, whatsoever we may introduce technology in the judicial administration, the decision-making process will have to be conducted by human beings. The computer or the technology will not be utilized for taking a decision in a particular case. That decision making has to be by a human being. Robot cannot, we can't feed data of a particular case and the decision will come from that robot or whatever it is. We have fed the data of the case and then the decision comes. I can't visualize that because decision making has to be by a human being. And here we require the human intervention, which is so, technology may be adopted in other, for record keeping, for many other things. But decision making, which is the most essential part of judicial administration, for that, the human intervention can't be avoided. So, technology in another 25 years, technology will further go ahead. The scientific temper we had adopted in our constitution, that we will try to introduce scientific approach in our day-to-day life, and having adopted that scientific temper, we have adopted technology as it has been introduced from time to time, right from the time of opening of the economy in 90s, and the further progress is being made. We have come to this stage that now online hearing with live streaming also is now possible. There is a judgment of the Supreme Court that as the parliament goes live, an entire discussion in the parliament is live. The same thing may also take place in the superior courts or in every court. And I don't say that that time will not come. It will come in near future, maybe in another 2, 3, 4, 5 years. That entire hearing process will be live as we are live here. Anybody can watch the proceedings in the Supreme Court, any court. That everything will, technology will facilitate everything, but it cannot facilitate decision making process. And that decision making process will have to be conducted by the human being, and human intervention will always be required for protecting the rights of the litigant, who is the most important person in the premises of the courts. With these words, I will beg excuse from Mr. Narayan and hand over the mic to Dr. Jyoti Bindal for her speech, provided Mr. Narayan permits me.
Thank you very much, Justice V.N. Sinha Sahab. I'm really very much thankful to you that in spite of your ill health, you came and gave a very good suggestion and you presented your views. We are really very much thankful to you for this. And initially, I forgot to thank our viewers because viewers are very important component. If the viewers are not there, then for whom we will be doing so. I'm equally
No,
thankful
no,
to the
viewers
viewers,
are there
and
already.
they are free to ask questions, whatsoever questions. Either Amita has
I'm
indicated.
ready for the question. Professor Narayan, I'm ready for the question.
Okay. Generally, we entertain questions at the end of the program. So that's why if the
Yes, sir,
viewer wants
because
to raise a question,
the
if
questions
there
will
is
be
a
entertained at the end only. Yes.
okay, one by one. If Shamsita, is there any question?
No,
So
sir,
we
there
can
is no
take the
question
questions
as
at
of
the
now.
end. Yeah.
Because the viewers are used to raise the questions at the end of that. So now I will request Professor Jyoti Vindal to present her views on medical part of the development.
Good evening. At the outset, I'm very thankful to Professor Narayan for giving me this opportunity to be a part of this wonderful seminar. And here, this is the first time we'll be discussing the future of our country. So I'll be speaking a little about the health sector, where we are and where we have come so far. Subhash, will you start projecting my slides? Subhash, are you there? Yes, thank you. Can you put it on the uh, PP mode? So I'm talking about healthcare 100 years from now. Next, please. There is no doubt that our country is the most populous country in our, one of the most populous. We are number two. We are fastest growing, but at the same time, we have experienced enormous economic growth and definite reduction in poverty. Next, please. Because of the population, we face so many challenges as well as opportunities. If we look at the health records of our country, we have come a long way. Our infant mortality rate has gone down. Uh, in 2015, it had come down to 38 from 66 initially. Our maternal mortality rate has come down from 374 to 174 in 2015, which again is a much is to be desired now. Next, please. What is also more important that we have very dynamic pharmaceutical and biotechnology industries. We've all seen the invent of indigenous COVID-19 vaccine, and we were one of the first ones to show the pathway to the world. We have world-class scientists, we have clinical trials going on, And we have now got so many hospitals which are world class, where we attract the patients from all the countries. Yet, we have tremendous problems in the public health because we would like to give actually a comprehensive health coverage for all, which is still a long way to go. We have a complete disparity in healthcare between the poor state and the rich state, and the healthcare system is extremely underfunded, inefficiently run, and underregulated. Things like child undernutrition, low birth weight babies, premature deaths, lifelong health problems, non communicable diseases like obesity, diabetes, cancers, road traffic accidents. These are some of major challenges our country faces. Next, please. Now, our government has come out with government funded health insurance programs. I'll be just speaking about that a little later. But it is at this point of time, it is very limited, and our public and private health systems have huge demands on country's capacity to train health leaders and professionals. Now we are talking of future. By 2050, we expect India's population to reach 1.7 billion, and this we will cross China and will become the most populated countries. And therefore, we do need major shifts in the healthcare. Now, our demographic trend is such that now our old age population will start growing from 4% to it will become 14%. So, geriatric healthcare is going to be one of our major challenges, and also we will expect 51% of our country's population to live in the cities. Right now it's 30%. Right now, even today, 70% population lives in villages, but very slowly and swiftly and gradually, we will have population coming in the cities. Next, please. So we are looking at a healthcare system where we can give complete health care to our population, and we need to achieve this in future. Next, please. Now, the biggest launch of scheme by the present government is Ayushman Bharat, which is Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. Now, in this, up to 5 lakhs coverage is given per year per family. It also covers all the health care in private hospitals as well, and provides free treatment for almost 16,000 empaneled hospitals. The beneficiary e-cards have been made for over 1.04 crore people, and more than 10 lakhs beneficiaries are taking advantage regularly. Under these schemes, and more than that, under our public and private healthcare, we are giving almost 1.7 lakhs antenatal checkups, 86.88 pregnant women are getting vaccinated. We are giving cash benefits for institutional deliveries. We are identifying high risk pregnancy cases. So, mother and child health is being taken care of. Then there's a scheme called Poshan Abhiyan. Again, it's the first of its kind, and we are trying to tackle multi-model malnutrition through this. Next, please. Then the medicines. Almost more than 1,000 medicines have been brought under the umbrella of essential medicines, which has a total price control by government. Then we have Jan Aushadhi Kendra, which are supposed to sell only generic medicines. Then we have Amrit pharmacies, which are government regulated pharmacies. So all these are the schemes by government so that our healthcare is within the reach of poor people. And Then there is a Pradhan Mantri National Dialysis Scheme, which gives dialysis almost free of charge to poor patients. Next, please. Then we have a thing called Mission Indradhanush. This is a scheme for taking care of vaccination of women and children. So this again itself is a very important scheme for prevention of diseases. Next. Now, a very, very important thing which our country is trying to achieve is a standardization of healthcare professional. Earlier, different medical colleges, different nursing, dental colleges had different standards. Now we all are under the umbrella of National Medical Council for Medical College, and now we are setting up Allied and Healthcare Council, which will have all these paramedical courses, which will be regulated by the government. So this kind of controlled healthcare is what our country is going to achieve very shortly. Artificial intelligence and robotics is the future, and I will like to differ a little from Justice Sinha is that medicine is a field where even decision making can be made by robots. So, of course, for early detection, diagnosis, treatment, it is there, but also for decision making. Next. Now, these technology applications can be made. We have already, I mean, recently, if anybody has seen, we had the Apple launch where the new mobile phone by Apple and uh, the new Apple Watch had come. So you can actually take your ECGs, they are wearable health trackers, you can monitor your pulse rate. If you're having low pulse rate, immediately you can rush to the hospital. All these are artificial intelligence in healthcare. Next, please. Or as I said, early detection. So no unnecessary biopsies is needed. This is all by artificial intelligence. Mammograms for breast cancer. All these are AI related detections. Next, please. So these devices will help us in detection, in treatment, in providing of care. All this is now going to be possible, and this is the future I am looking at. Medical imaging is going to become literally with blink of an eye, one can see the disease. All the details are going to come. New and new machines are coming every day. Smallest detail can be detected. There is a digital consultation system already in place. Now, through the apps, the patients are asked by the doctors, and there is a telemedicine. So, a remote area patient can access to doctors. The treatment designs, the precision medicine, all this is possible with the help of artificial intelligence. Genetics is again a very, very big area where mutations linked to disease is happening because of artificial intelligence. Next, please. And this is actually the future for artificial intelligence, is the future for healthcare, and our country is running leaps and bounds in this field. Next, please. So, if we talk of specifically future of health sector, we are going ahead with technology innovations like mobile health devices, with healthcare data, telemedicine strategies, and this will continue to evolve. There will be a shift in population profiles. The disease burden and care protocols will change by 2050. There will be more and more preventive care, tuberculosis, cancer, AIDS. We expect them to be literally cured by in future. Next, please. Then research and developmental activities will be very strong in futures to come. There will be a strong digital infrastructure, and this digital infrastructure is what we are looking at in future. Next, please. Then, of course, there will be public healthcare systems, medical healthcare functions, clinical diagnosis. All this will be digitally connected, and this is the future we are looking for India. There'll be healthcare pillars. The core healthcare pillars will transition to a care delivery model. And there'll be emerging technologies like brain computer interfaces, like nanorobots, like gene manipulation, like robotic surgery, like synthetic organs, very, very important, organ cloning, individualized drugs for individual person and disease, bionic body parts. These are the things which is the future of India in healthcare. We have terrific scientists, we have technology, we have brains, and uh, we have the will to develop. So these are the kind of um, areas we are looking at. We are looking at wearable, invasive, and non invasive sensors. I'm not sure if you all are aware, but recently we've already started using, and in Indore, in my institution, we are doing this. A person just has to take a capsule, and this capsule goes in the stomach. It inflates so that it occupies the stomach space, and this is the treatment for obesity. Person cannot eat more. Earlier, there was a gastric bypass surgery being done for bariatrics. Now, this swallowable capsule, and in 4 months, it disintegrates and passes by itself. So, these are the kinds of futures we are looking at. We are looking at Bluetooth enabled implants. We are looking at advancement in drugs. Drugs will be personalized, they'll be predictive, preventive, participatory drugs, human genome engineerings, vaccines for every possible disease. This is the future which we are looking in next few years. Again, low cost bioelectronic devices, as you can see, these are the sensors, the nanobots, small robotic um, capsules which will give access to clonable organs. There'll be regenerative medicines. These are the areas in healthcare sector which we are looking at, and these will be delivered. The medicine, the treatment will be delivered through wearable sensors. There'll be huge advancement, and very, very important, there'll be 3D printing which will change the entire scene of medicine, of healthcare system, and this will be beneficial for rural areas because they'll be connected digitally, and from home premises one can access the medicine. The drones, the robots, the artificial intelligence will have a major breakthrough in healthcare, and will be able to provide healthcare system in our country, which is probably what one can look, because we are looking at, and that is why when I look at the healthcare 100 years from now, the vital signs like blood pressure, temperature are recorded 24 hours by a tiny sensor. Again, I'm sure you all are aware of the small sensor which is already in place for diabetes. You can just put it, it's like a button. You can put it in upper arm. Many times I use it, and you can read the blood sugar reading 24/7 for with one button for 15 days. So these are the kinds of devices which are already there, and we can see a great future by these 24 hour sensors. Again, as I said, chips in the stomach, again, the kind of things which are already being used, they'll help us to lose the weight, bariatric medicine. And imagine all one thing which I can envisage is whatever we learn, from example, whatever we are learning today, this will all be passed through a brain chip to computer. We will not have to keep anything in memory. One can always uh, go to that computer and recall whatever you want to. So again, please remember that health is not an expense, it is an investment. And this is where our country needs to go further. Thank you so much. Thank you, Professor Narayan.
Given a very the future of healthcare is very bright as you presented, and I hope that this will happen and people will be very happy. In the next session, again, I will request you when we will be presenting the rural scenario of India and rural scenario of USA and UK as regards to this health care. Because what the health care we are having in UK is not that which we are seeing in USA. So, which kind of development in healthcare will be a suitable one for India? That is yet to be decided, yet to be taken, because we are talking about artificial intelligence, and we have just talked about the drone and others input in healthcare. If it is there, then it will be so nice as we have that drone and the other such input in Canada. But that is not even present in UK. So a result of all that, so we will have expert in one of our upcoming webinar on these two from Canada, USA, and UK, all the three countries. Because I was just thinking that which you are mentioning and what I have seen uh, in tribal India or the indigenous population in USA or indigenous population in UK and in Canada, there is a marked difference between so far the health sector is concerned. And for that, the UNO is trying for that to bring all those things on one common platform, where, because humanity is one, human beings are one. So there should be at least the health and education, these two things should be equal to one. So I will request you to contribute something from that perspective also, because we as a policy maker or we as a planner can get the real input and can get some input, uniform input from the developed countries, so that the other countries also can benefit from your knowledge. So thank you very much. Now after two mundane discussions in terms of what our president of the International Buddhist Mission, for him these things are mundane, because Buddha, when he was about to attain enlightenment, he had been to a great thinker of that time and great Buddhist saint of that time, Allah. And while returning, some of the followers of the Allah also followed Buddha. When they were passing through the Falgu River, the Falgu River has very little water, but when they were to approach Bodh Gaya, they were so tired. They were so tired that they don't have any inclination to walk a single step. So what happened that Buddha fell in the Falgu River, and then he thought that what is the use of moving from one place to another place and taxing myself without having any knowledge, any inspiration, any say spiritual advancement. So he made a question and he said, no, the followers of the Allah who are coming, he said, you just go back, go to your teacher. I am not your teacher. I don't have the enlightenment, so I cannot assure you that if you follow me, if you follow my words, then you will have peace. But after that he fall down. But when his followers, his students, they took him and brought to Bodh Gaya, and there he was lying on the temple, and Sujata came with water, all that, and she put the water and allowed him to sleep. When he got up, he found that now this is early morning, what to do, and he was very hungry, but there was no food. Then he took all that water and then he started his meditation and he got enlightenment. So that is the uh, fact which is written in books and which are shared. So I thought that if I am wrong, the mission chief will correct me because whatsoever I have, that is the bookish knowledge which I have read from the book. It's not from the practical one as you have because you are heading the global Buddhist mission. So we expect that whatsoever you will say, you will share your knowledge will be of great importance, and viewers are very high for you. Today, viewers are very high to listen you, and that marks. See, I'm very happy to share with you that that marks that Buddhism is now at the peak in India because our webinar is very small and we do not go for any publicity. But of course, 2 3 days before, we just put it on what you call YouTube, and with that we have a very high number of people to listen you across the globe. So please, Raviji, you please, uh, you are welcome on behalf of viewers, on behalf of Society for Empowerment, on behalf of Sri V.N. Shinaji. He is equally religious person. He has a great knowledge about the Buddhism and Hinduism, but he will again differ with me that he is not an expert because he has so nobody thinks that he is expert, but the other who thinks listens him thinks that he is an expert. And Dr. Jyoti Bindal is not only a physician or a gynecologist, she is also an expert in mental science. She met me in mental science activities, and she understands the religious activities, Buddhism also. I do not know how much she is aware of the Buddhism and all that, but you are most welcome. Please share your views for us so that we can also get some ray of enlightenment with your lecture, your address.
Yes, thank, thank you, Dr. Narayan, and all the respected personalities like our judge and our vice chancellor and all the members of the society. Um, this is a very important for us to discuss. What is the result? We don't have to go for that. So Buddhism is a very big subject. The Buddha taught after enlightenment for 45 years. He traveled and traveled and taught. So this is very subject in Buddha you can find from judiciary to medical health and all the science you can find it there. The important is that the most important for Gautam the Buddha, because Buddha were many Buddha comes in the world, because in the Pali we get E cha Buddha Atita cha E cha Buddha Anagata Pachupanna Chaye Buddha Aham Bandami Sabbada. So there were the Buddhas who come before the Gautam the Buddha, and there will be Buddhas in future. So any person can be a Buddha by following the path of Buddhism. Just like our judge Sahab told that he started practicing as a lawyer. He gained the law by using the way earlier lawyer has done. And then after he joins as a judge, he he has the same way. He has the same way. Same. So the Buddha also give us the way. That was the Samyak Samadhi. Samyak. So all thing is the Samyak, Samyak, Samyak. The eight path, eightfold path. So those paths lead to you to become a Buddha. Because Buddha explained we are here. So there are not this, the humanity was most important. So far the India is concerned, we are divided into caste, sub-caste, and another caste. So there is not a base of Buddhism because Buddha's that very, very concept we don't find it in India. Even after the 75 years of the freedom, which we are celebrating everywhere inside India and abroad. But there is no equality, there is no humanity. Every time you see the newspaper, you see that magazines, you see the television, everywhere you will find people are full of jealous, full of that what is hatred and many things which is not the base of Buddhism. So we need to create a society where there is no hatred, where the people love each other. There should not be boundaries, the international boundaries like that, based on caste, creed, and religion. Because Buddhism is not a religion. It is the way of life based on middle path, the middle way of living. And so it needs an equality of just we had one example our doctor gave about that the viral problem, that virus. So that gives where we find everybody is equal. So and everybody is suffering the same thing. Everybody is at it, and everybody is fearful. So that was a bad atmosphere. But it gave a teaching of Buddhism that everybody is equal, whether you are a rich, whether you are a poor, but you have to suffer the same thing. So that the virus is still continuing. So whatever may be the bad effect of the virus, but it was just a simple example of equality because virus doesn't came that you are rich, you are from this caste, or you are from this nationality, where you are the black or you are the white, which is the main base, the division of the society. So we have to, when this is a very important topic, when we are talking of 2047, that will be the 100 years of our freedom. We got in 1947 and 2047 we are imagining. So whenever our prime minister is going to different country, he is just shouting, "Buddha was great. We had given the Buddha. We have give that. We have produced the Buddha, not the Yuddha, but the Buddha." But actually, when we come back to India, we don't find the equality in the society. So in 2047, we have to think a society based on the non-caste, non-religious, and there should not be hatred because the most important hatred, and people still hating because that B.R. Ambedkar, who adopted the Buddhism, he also explained that why he left this religion and he adopted the Buddhism because he wanted to have equality based, whatever you say, that many people paint Buddhism as a religion, but in my opinion, it is not a religion, but the way of living where we respect each other, and we should have a respect even he is a poor or rich or he's a black or white. These things should have to be do in 2047. And then, as from the health point of view, that Buddha gives you to control the mind. When you come to the Dhammapad, the Dhammapad in the where there is a sayings of Buddha in the form of the poetry, and he explains the very first Mano Pubangama Dhamma Mano Seta Manoma. That the mind is the forerunner. So we should control the mind. And when we control the mind, the hatred and all these bad elements of the humanity, which grows the inhumanity, can be controlled. And not only that, the doctor and the vice chancellor, he have just explained about the psychology. And the psychological problem can be controlled by doing meditation. There is a different kind of meditation taught by Buddha. And in our India, we developed the Goenka's meditation. Then we have also Vipassana, different kind of Vipassana teachers were there. In Buddha Gaya, we have International Meditation Center, Goenka's Meditation Center, so many, many centers to meditation. But the main object of all these Buddhist meditation is to control of mind. And when you control the mind, you control your diseases. Because the mind always, a sick mind makes you many sickness, and you get a many kind of disease. If in Japan, developed the same meditation. It's called the Zen meditation. And by the Zen meditation, you can cure even the very, very deep cancer or many madness, many things you can control by the Zen meditation. So I think that there should be a place in India and all over the world where the Buddhist teaching, because there are many teaching centers, but they don't teach the what is the real teaching of Buddha. So there should be a center which can teach the Buddha's that masses, because most important that Buddha is telling that don't carry my words on your shoulder as we carry the corpse and send it to in the graveyard. So you listen to my words, but you taste it, and finally, if you find it is good for you and society, then you adopt it. Otherwise, just forget. So the more in the religions, the people say, no, you should follow this, you must follow this. But in the Buddhism, there is nothing like to follow. First you test it, anything has been said by the Gautama Buddha, first you test it, and if it is good for you and society. So the most important in Buddhism is the welfare of the society. So the social element, because Buddha was always thinking about the society, and society is the unit of a human being. So unless we don't have human being satisfied or happy, we cannot imagine the whole nation as a happy. So happiness we cannot find from the outside. The happiness is the inside thing generated. So whether you listen to Dalai Lama, who's in the recently propagating the Buddhism, or you go to the Goenka Center. So everybody is the most important. You should be happy, but happiness you cannot buy outside. It is not like a tea or coffee you paid 100 rupees and you drink, 10 rupees you paid and you drink. This is the feeling inside you have to create. And everything, the sadness or the happiness, we are the creator. The one person we we are the creator of our happiness or sadness. So Buddha explains like the spider creates his own wave, we also create our own life wave and we die in that. So whatever we do, we get that because in Gita he says karmaneva adhikarasya ma phaleshu kadacha. But Buddha is telling no, whatever you will do, that will come to you. When you make the seed of mango, you cannot get tamarind. You will get pure mango. So what it is also in Hinduism, they have the karma. Buddha explains it in the way of the karma. So karma is like whatever you have done, the activity in past or the activity in the present, that will lead to your life. That's why always we have to think of the goodness of the people, and that goodness will come to you because you are propagating that seed. So the seed will become the big tree. So this seed has been founded by you. So the happiness which you found, then you sow the happiness, you will get the happiness. If you grow the unhappiness, you will get the unhappiness. So whatever the sadness or happiness that we are creating. So that's most important in the Buddhism is like that happy society, but that we can think in 2047 we should do our effort to create a world without caste creed and the boundaries of the nationality. I'm not criticizing, but you see, if you come to the Bihar state, where the Gautam Buddha gets enlightenment, in that state, you see, they are going to count the people that the voters will be counted in the name of the. So it is just they have approved that they will count that one on the base of the caste system. Casteism. The voting will be on the casteism. So where we can imagine of the Buddhism, when there is again caste creed and this thing, we cannot imagine of the Buddhism. So where we can imagine in the Buddhism in the society. That one, this we have to, yes. So we cannot think of that unless we have to dedicate our time and get many meetings about that on national and international level, then only it will be possible. So we hope that in 2047 we can have a society which is being propagated by our Prime Minister Modi ji, that we have given the world not the Yuddha but the Buddha. So let's think of that Buddhas will be propagated all over the India and it will pass all over the world and we will have a beautiful society in 2047 because now this Buddhism is growing also in Africa, America, all of the Europe. You can find that data. Now we have all the data in the internet. So you can get a Buddhism in USA, Buddhism in Japan. Many countries are Buddhist, but still they are growing in the African and those continent. You will find that one. So we have the big lectures. Now I think the time is getting over. So any question you have, just send to Dr. Narayan and he will send to me and then we can answer that one. So the most important Buddhism is that we have to think a society in 2047 without a caste, creed, and a hatred. That's all. I will like to stop here. Hmm. Because I don't want to know the political situations. Yes. So thank you very much, and for all the people to give a very nice point about the judiciary, and yes, and the medical science and Buddhism covers all these things. When you come, then we have also the 16 Janpadas and also that psychological. I told you just this is the meditation is the most important for controlling your mind. If you once you control your mind, you can do a lot of things, and you can also make a beautiful society by following the Buddha's words. That's all, sir. Thank you, Naran, sir.
Thank you. Thank
And
you very much. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences and opinion. It's true that mind controls the life, mind controls our each activities, mind controls your uh, outer appearance also, because what you think with, with that your face also reflects. And in anthropology we teach that the face and the physical activity of any individual depends on what he thinks, what he does. So this is there are certain questions which are coming. Okay, we will take up the questions. Please wait for 2 minutes. We will take up the questions individually. We should know that which question is meant for whom. Accordingly, we will answer. So, Shramshita, please take the note of all questions which are coming, and then one by one we will answer all these questions.
So
So,
right now there
whatever.
is only one question right now. How will the judiciary be helpful with quantum computing and whether technology will compete with judiciary?
Okay, so this is
Yeah,
for Justice
what
Singh.
is the question?
Please read again.
How will the judiciary be helpful with quantum computing and whether technology will compete with judiciary?
Quantum computing. Quantum computing is what is this quantum computing? I am not able to appreciate.
Maybe it's some
Shramshita,
latest technology.
Hmm?
Maybe it is some latest technology.
Quantum computing.
Yes, sir.
technology
Computing
will
is
compete with
calculating. No, computing is calculating. Quantum is number.
quantum is number.
So
Quantum is the
that is taken
quantum. I
care
think
of.
that the one of the viewer quantum means the volume of development of technology will compete with the judiciary. Volume of technological advancement will compete with the judiciary. Will the judiciary be using all those developmental inputs as
Yes.
you
Now I
as you will?
appreciate. Yes. Now I appreciate. It will definitely judiciary will definitely incorporate the development in the technology made from time to time, but such development will be only confined to housekeeping, bookkeeping, maintaining the number, maintaining the records by digitizing the records, putting the records also on the click of the mouse. But decision making, as I said in my this talk also, decision making will be by the judge.
Yes.
This is how I understand, and I'm I will.
No, you are right. You are right because it is the judgment is to be delivered by an individual, by a human being.
Yes.
So it will the human being, human mind will definitely try to incorporate all the development, all the
Hmm.
technological development while taking a decision or while writing any judicial aspect of that. So that is there. Is there any other question? Role of ethics in transformation of society. Oh, this is to our Buddhist friend, uh, Raviji. Raviji, is he here or he left?
I think he has left, sir.
But I
He
tell
left.
you, ethics, I'm answering this question. Ethics is the most important aspect of life. Ethics is
Yeah.
the most important aspect of life. It has to take control of every action of ours.
Hmm.
I agree with the Buddhist scholar that mind is the controller of everything. All of our actions are controlled by our mind. A good action and a bad action, both is decided by my mind, by our mind. So
Hmm.
mind is the most important part of your body and everything. And karma, I also agree with the Buddhist scholar that karma has to come back to the person concerned. Whatever he
Yes.
has done in his life, that will come back to him in this very life,
Very
in this
correct.
very life. And
Sure.
to this is, in appreciation of these two facts, we are all of us are Buddhist by our
Yes.
thought process and by our actions.
Yes.
Correct. Correct. This is you are right. You are right. But we need the viewer needs answer from uh, chief of the Buddhist mission, Raviji.
Huh,
Role
he
No,
of
no.
has
ethics
come.
in
He
transformation of
has come
society.
back.
Our respected judge has already explained you what I wanted to explain. So that
No,
is very
he explained
important. The
from the experience.
morality, ethics,
No,
these
I am
are
very much
things. Uh,
impressed, Mr.
He
Narayan.
has
yes, sir.
the viewer is
Dr.
saying that
Narayan, I am
he
very
has.
much impressed. I am very much impressed by Mr. Ravi
Uh,
Madhankar. I am very much impressed, and he has made me understand Buddhism in very few words. But now, speaking for myself, I find in agreement with him on all or most of the aspects which the Buddhists are trying for. Even the Constitution of
yeah.
India, even the Constitution of India is for providing a casteless society. So that is nothing but that is Buddhism,
Yeah.
the basics of the Buddhist thought.
Yes, sir. You
You
are right.
know,
You are right.
Ravi
Yes.
Medankar is a very, very globally popular Buddhist scholar and a Buddhist, say, mission chief.
Whenever
Mission
he
chief.
is next time in India, I will
Uh,
definitely like to call on him and pay my respect to him.
no, he is coming next month. Next month he is here, and
Very
he will
No,
good.
no,
come
no, not next month. In November, I will be there in November, and I will love to
November.
meet
In
all the
November,
people.
I will like to pay my respect to him.
And my
Yes.
respect to you, because you told about the judiciary very clearly, and I am very happy to tell you that my grandfather, he was also he was a judge in the Bihar state. He
Hmm.
retired as a district judge in Munger. So he was also in the judiciary. Judiciary is very much important for the society, and you can make a society on equality based and without hatred. Only the judiciary can do.
So there is
Yeah.
Medankarji, there is another question for you. How to view a
Yes, sir.
social moral aspect vis-a-vis symbolic adoption of technology? How to view a social moral aspect vis-a-vis symbolic adoption of technology.
So without the technology, what is technology? It is also a development of the mind. So
Yes.
whatever the technology we are developing, it is product of our mind. So whenever we need something, we create. Like in English proverb, so the necessity is the mother of invention. Like our doctor, just to the vice chancellor, he explained about the intelligentsia, the outer intelligentsia. This is what all we are creating. This is the all the creation, the technology, our mind. Now in Japan, we have many kind of robots. They're doing everything. They are making the food. They are making sushi. They are making sashimi. There are some computers are developed which can be a partner of yours. If you are a male, you can use a computer in a female design, and a female can use a male design robot that is developed in the robotics. What our vice chancellor was explaining. So ethics is important. A same thing like the bombs, which was the Hiroshima was done. That should have been used for the humanity, development of humanity, but we make it for the destruction. So we just call for the peace, peace, peace. But we are always interested in fighting how to sell our arms, how to sell our ammunition. So most important, our technology is also the development of our mind. So whenever empty mind is there, we have the evil's workshop, devil's workshop. So we create evil things. So technology is nothing, but with the same technology, we can do good work or we can do a bad. Now, what very important, what is good or bad? That will be also a very big discussion. So good means the good for me and good for the society, not the good for just a personal good. So for the social goodness, we you always discuss about the social goodness. So the technology, what my friend wanted to know, is also product of our mind. So controlling of the mind is the most important. He has some more questions, and I can give him other way.
Okay, now I think there is no question. Swamshida, is there any more question?
Have you answered this question of how to view a social or moral
Yes,
aspect?
yes.
No,
We
there
have
are no more
answered it.
questions. No more questions.
Okay. Okay, so
Hmm.
thank you, viewers.
Even later you get some question, please send to us, and we will try to, because nobody can be satisfied with the answer, but we will try to give them answer as far as practicable.
Okay, okay. So thank you very much, Vedankar ji, and
Thank you, sir. And
you are,
thank you,
or
Mr.
you can say
Sina, and all the
as
participants and
popularly you are
our organizer.
as popularly you are known as Guruji. Like Fuji Guruji, you are Vedankar Guruji. so we thank you very much for joining us in this webinar, and hope you will continue to extend your academic support to the society whenever required. We will request you, and our viewers are very large, though, and most of the viewers are from all walk of life. They are judges, they are say common man, they are doctors. All those people are associated with us because we want one thing which I would like to share with VN Sinha and with you also, that Gandhi ji had mentioned in his one of two lines in his autobiography, that We talk much about Champaran movement, we talk much about his visit to Vidya, but we forgot to mention about Gandhi visit to Kathmandu and to the house of that of Buddha. There's two
Hmm.
visits. Gandhi went to Nepal for 2 days. One day went to see the temple of Kathmandu, and the other day he went to see the house of the palace of that Buddha,
Hmm.
where he was born. These two places which Gandhiji visited, he had mentioned it in his um, autobiography, but I do not know why these 2 points have been ignored. From To me, it appears that these two are very much important point which he had mentioned in his autobiography, because he was Gandhi was greatly influenced by Buddha, and most of the time the concept of peace and thought for peace perhaps came to him from Buddha, which he has discussed with Tagore, Rabindranath Tagore. But those aspects, there are still certain aspects which needs to be discussed and highlighted, or
Further
at
explored,
least
further explored.
explore. Yes, rather to explore. And since you are the president of the World Buddhist Mission, I think you are the best person to answer my question. That when
No,
Gandhi was
that
influenced,
is too high praise. No, no one is the master in the world. So, because even Buddha say, I can be your guide, not the teacher. Can guide you, but I cannot be teacher. So that
you
is too high to say.
anyway, it's good that
Yeah.
you. Uh, but perhaps Justice V.N. Sinha would like to throw some light on this. That Gandhi was greatly influenced by Buddha, and he talked of peace from Buddha's line.
No, Gandhi.
Sir, be sorry, 1 minute. The not Gandhi all over the world is has
Influence.
impact of Buddha. The
Yes.
Gandhi ji also a part of the society, so he has also the influence of Buddha. Not only Gandhi. Even you go Martin Luther King or all the important, you go to this the Russian president, anywhere place you will find that Buddha is always in their mind.
Hmm.
Hmm. Because even in the Hinduism, if you come, they had no anything to see any dark cloud in the Buddha's history, and they adopted him as one of the incarnation. They say the Buddha is the incarnation of the Vishnu. So there is
Incarnation,
nothing
Lord
fault in
Vishnu.
the Buddha.
Yes,
So you cannot say
yes,
that
yes.
one. So you adopted in Buddha. Because Buddha was against that one. He wanted to have this society on equality. So everybody understand this one. So as our judicial friend told that we are all Buddhists. Yes, we are all Buddhists if we think on the humanity ground and the peace. As the Gandhi was not also exception. So he wanted to have a peace, and peace cannot be by making the society in a small pieces. So you have to be for the peace. You need the social justice where everybody can get a bread, a butter, and everything in equality. So then that will be a peace. Otherwise, there will be not a peaceful society, which Gandhi also absorbed. Martin Luther King absorbed. You see, the whole all of the important personalities of the world, they adopted the peace message of Buddha. So I told you that you can be also a Buddha by following the way of Buddha. So that's all, sir. Thank you.
No,
Okay.
what
So
I
thank you.
what I will like to say, what I would like to add that Buddhism is a way of life. It
Yes.
is a it is a way of life,
Hmm.
and one way of life based on ethics, based on
Yes.
equality, And all of us, right from Martin Luther King or
Hmm.
Mahatma Gandhi or anyone, those
Yes.
who, Mahatma Gandhi, when he talked of Antyodaya, so Antyodaya was nothing but accepting Buddhism, that if the last man in the society should also have the equal rights as any other person, and he should
Right,
not
sir.
be.
Perfect. Yes.
So those who want to ensure a equal society, a
Yeah.
prosperous society, they are all following the tenets of Buddhism.
Yes.
Correct.
Our
Correct.
PM
Maybe
also following the
they may
Buddhism.
be they may be
Yes.
following Christianity, they may be following Hinduism,
Yeah.
but the aim of all these religions is nothing but the betterment of the last man in the society.
Yes. You're right.
And to that extent, all of us are Buddhist.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
I agree
Number
with
of
your point. So we have to think in 2047, a Buddhist society should grow and very based on the judiciary or everybody's health, that
Exactly,
equality
sir.
should be
Exactly,
there.
sir. In
yes. Yes.
2047, we have to ensure that the Buddhist society is 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 prevailing in India.
Definitely.
Yes, yes.
Definitely. It will
Yes,
Yes,
grow because the
Buddhism is
population.
prevailing in India, and we have the centers, but we have to develop those centers in a fruitful manner.
yes,
You see, when
Centers
the
are
Buddhist,
many, but we need a real teachings there, and so that fruit, that the tree grows and the fruit everybody gets.
yes.
okay. So thank you very much, Medanta Shahab and Justice V.N. Sinha and the Vice Chancellor Jyoti Bindal. She has some important work, so she has gone for that.
But we have
So,
enjoyed, Professor Narayan, we have enjoyed
so thank
Thank
you.
you.
this
Thank you very
webinar.
much.
This webinar we have
Yes.
enjoyed, and I am really grateful that you have made me part of this. Thank you very much.
So
Thank you,
thank you very
sir.
much.
We'll see you again.
Thank you.
And if you want to see on the Jain, I have a lecture series on Jain that is
Oh,
organized by the Mithila University, Darbhanga. So that is
Definitely,
from
I
okay.
will see that.
22nd to, I will send you that to you circulate to them so that they
If
Yes,
can
they
yes.
want,
also enjoy that
if they,
Yes,
about
if
I
the
will.
they,
Jain Buddhism.
if
Okay.
they want, I can share my knowledge with them. I,
Yes, so
we
please.
should.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you, sir.
Okay.
Namaskar.